In the beginning, the Spirit was hovering over the waters. No, in the beginning, we were living in our mother's belly, in the mother's womb. We were one. Then we come to the earth, we are born, and at that moment, we only live within the mother's gaze, okay? So we experience a physical separation, but the mental separation takes time. It's called individuation, and it happens in early childhood. In the first phase of life, we only live in our mother's gaze. And when we're frustrated, when we're not agree with the world, we try to manipulate the world by crying. We want the world to modify its behavior because we don't like what happens. We want mother to adjust her behavior by crying. So there are different reasons why humans cry. It can also be an expression of emotion. It can be an act of empathy when we cry for others. But a narcissist will only cry in the gaze of another person. It makes no sense to cry if nobody witnesses the narcissist. It would be investment without an outcome, and narcissists are all about outcome. Narcissists live within your gaze because their individuation has been disrupted. So they stay in the same post-traumatic condition of the birth, of their birth, of being living only in the mother's gaze. They never separated. In other words, a healthy human being has learned to exist primarily out of themselves. A functional mother exists primarily out of herself. And then we can experience to exist in the gaze of another person when we have a social interaction. But primarily we exist for ourselves within our own consciousness because we zoom in out. We can introspect. But, by the way, when I say dead mother, when I talk about this, I don't mean the gender. Also, a father can be a dead mother. Okay, I'm not sexistic. I'm not talking about the gender. I'm talking about the archetype. The archetype can be represented by any human being, okay? So the normal, healthy way of real life, living people, is to live for primarily out of themselves. And secondary, they can also exist in the gaze of another person. But dead people, walking dead, narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, only live in the gaze of another person. They are algorithms that create reaction in other people. So narcissist never cries alone, only cries to manipulate the behavior, adjust the behavior of other people. Narcissist would not do a spiritual thing if not another person witnesses them. All right? So everything they do is meant to create a reaction, to be summoned within the stage of another consciousness in lack of an own consciousness. You need to understand this. So that being said, when we are getting out of the narcissistic family cult, the influence, the gaslighting, the fantasy, We have our consciousness for our own. There is not anymore these actors playing theater within our consciousness. They, of course, coercively try to stay an important part in our life. And yes, they also like negative attention. The only thing that matters is that they live in your consciousness like a parasite. The thing is, what I want to tell you, what I want to express, what I want to speak is the way out of this fantasy, out of this manipulation, is definitely real spirituality in combination with Jung's psychology of archetypes. That's what I already claimed in the videos before. This accompanies the process of individuation. And the narcissist wants to drag us to their infantile state of being dysregulated and externally regulating. And it hurts their grandiose sense of self that we have our own consciousness and they are dependent of our consciousness to experience themselves. They need the gaze of another person to experience themselves. Now, when we talk about real spirituality, that thing that connects you to your nature, to yourself, to the primary form of being, not in the gaze of another person, but for yourself, self-love. It's kind of the connection to Mother Nature, all right? This connection to spirituality can be killed by two things. One thing is religion, and one thing is spiritual narcissism. Real spirituality is the natural fruit of a healthy human being, feeling a connection to the intuitive part of themselves, to collective subconsciousness, to archetypes, in a natural way, feeling God, feeling the universe, feeling the cosmos. Yet this connection can be tainted, corrupted, and killed by religion. This is why Nietzsche said, God is dead and we killed him, because we institutionalized spirituality. We have tried to wrap over it something that we can tax, literally. We can sell, we can tax, we can use to manipulate, to control, to dominate. You see, this is narcissistic colonization of a natural living thing, spirituality. If we try to use it to control, manipulate, and dominate other people, we colonize it and kill it. We kill the healthy part of it, all right? Second, spiritual narcissism also kills real spirituality because it means that the spirituality now only can exist within the gaze of others. It becomes a shared fantasy. We need to share it with everybody. We need to show it. We need others to invest emotionally in the false spiritual picture that we create. All right? So that being said, be careful about yourself and understand that the only living, the only space for life itself is within yourself and nature. It's not a shared fantasy, it's not spiritual narcissism, and it's not religion. I don't even want to judge these things and say they are evil. I'm just telling you what, in my opinion, is the way. See, there is evil in the world. Human beings can be worse than every animal. We add to the layer of the healthy competition in nature. Okay, the competition in nature is healthy because Everybody commits to it, everybody is invested, everybody can die. Narcissistic psychopathy is not that way. It is evil, it is deceptive, it is not fair, it tries to destroy competition, it tries not to compete. Narcissists are cowards. They don't invest, they don't take the same risk, they try to cheat every system. All right, this is evil. It's worse than animals. If you say, oh, all nature is like that, you generalize and belittle like a narcissist would. So, I hope my message could clarify something. I'm happy to be able to speak it, because this way I also talk to myself. And be careful of spiritual narcissism and religion. Anything that is being sold, that is living in the gaze of others, where it's necessary to have other people to believe it, to invest in it, that's cult. That's a cult. We're talking about a natural connection to life, to things that we experience when we dream, when we walk in nature. We have synchronicities. We feel that we represent an archetype, that something is in a beautiful, mysterious contact with us. But this does not need likes and views, and it's not a product that can be sold or uploaded on Instagram. You understand me?